Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Param Param Vishwaro Guratmeti Murti Veda Vivagine Vyomabda Vyakta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Tava Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Satguru Pranatoshimaham Om Om Shanti 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 Om Namaste. Okay, we're back with Mandukya, beginning from verse 18, page 163. Non-duality is indeed the absolute reality. Duality is said to be its apparent manifestation only. For the dualists, duality exists empirically and absolutely. Hence, this teaching is not in conflict with them. Okay, Gaudapada carries on this comparison between duality and the philosophy of non-duality from the Upanishads and the other schools of thought that believe that the physical universe is also reality. Consciousness is real and the world is real. So it's the same concept. And here he only brings non-duality is the only reality, meaning to say what? So there is only consciousness, and the entire diversity of plurality of objects in all kinds of dimensions, physical and subtle objects in subtle dimensions. Every kind of object brings about a sense of duality, but this duality is an appearance. It's just an apparent manifestation due to a certain power, as we know. For us, the dualists, duality, for them, the dualist duality exists not only as an appearance, as an experience, but absolutely, it does exist, and it's self-contained. So Vedanta does not negate this manifestation, the appearance of this manifestation. It just accepts it, available as an appearance for the sake of experience and knowledge. But when you attribute reality, absolute reality, also for all phenomena object, and then you are really a dualist, and you are missing the point. Hence, this teaching is not in conflict with them. And then we're going to look more and more here and in the next verse that Vedanta is not in conflict. Why? Because it teaches Sachin Mithya. So, I mean, it teaches so beautifully Mithya. It's just saying that it is an apparent order reality. In the beginning, it does not say it so clearly, but gradually it brings to our attention the fact that although it is there empirically, it's not there in truth. No? But it explains the difference between Sach and Mithya. And not only that, what is reality? I mean, it points out that reality is you in your intrinsic essential nature as conscious existence. No? So what is reality? So it is the consciousness of the observer on which or in which this entire universe reflects appears. It happens within the mind, which happens within consciousness, as we know. In the dream state, it happens more clearly within mind and less clearly within consciousness, although nothing escapes consciousness. Consciousness is there blessing the mind to receive those subtle images of the dream world, no? The mental world. And then in the awakened state, in the same way, consciousness is there blessing the mind to receive this physical material experience. It is an experience, yes, it's just an experience happening within the mind. So Vedanta comes to point out that the awakening state and the awakening world is not absolutely truth. Uh, it's just perception. We perceive it in a certain way that makes us believe, that they are real. But it's just happening through perception, through our sense instruments. Uh, and why this teaching is not in conflict with the Dvaita teachings? Because they say, yes, 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 yes. So we understand Dvaita. We teach Dvaita. We teach Dvaita. But we just disagree because we stand in Satya. So if we would be standing in Mithya as reality, and then we could have a good argument, my theory against yours, but we stand in Satya. Come and stand in Satya as Satya, and then we can have an argument. But then anybody coming, standing in Satya as Satya, will have no conflict with the Upanishads and Vedanta teachings. How many times in the Gita Krishna stands in Mithya as the creator or as the guru. And although he's doing that to help Arjuna to do the right thing, and in the process protecting the dharma of the apparent universe or apparent planets in which we live, and by doing so helping Arjuna to grow as well, protecting the environment as well. There is no conflict. The absolute reality is only one non-dual principle. It's known as Turiya. All the duality is all appearance of one Brahman through the power of Maya, just as through the Nidra Shakti power, the dream world appears. Advaita appears as Dvaita. As long as I'm ignorant of the real nature of this universe, I will take Dvaita to be reality. As long as I'm ignorant of the true nature of all ornaments of gold, I will take the diversities, the plurality of ornaments to be real. Once I become aware of the gold as the real, intrinsic, essential nature of all ornaments, only then I can solve this problem. And I can say that all there is gold, all there is water. And therefore I don't mix up the namarupas with their intrinsic nature. So the whole purpose of Vedanta is to clear this confusion, this distinction. Don't mix up namarupas with their essential nature. Take the essential nature, enjoy the namarupas because they serve some utilities. They have certain values, apparent values in the apparent nature, but don't miss on their essential true nature. Otherwise, we are caught up suffering from this magnetic force of attraction and repulsion towards different namarupas, because we missed on the eccentric intrinsics essential true nature. We are deceived by the name, colors, and forms of everything. And the forms and the Namarupa may be a beautiful concept of God as well. From the dualist standpoint, it's always divided, whether during samsara, ignorance, or moksha knowledge. Even when they search for moksha, they believe that moksha is something that's going to come about through some action to gain or become something else, or to return to one thing, to something, as if I came out of Brahman, I have to go back to Brahman. This is moksha. For them, Dvaitam is the ultimate reality. The non-dualist does not want to contradict them because they are always correct from their standpoint. The dualists are always correct from their standpoint. Why? Because they are defending the perspective, the small picture they have in regards to their viewpoint. There is value in God. There is value in God. Yes, there is value in Dharma. Yes, there is value in Dharma. There is value in living a dharmic life. Definitely. You're gonna grow, yes. And how about God? Oh, God is something that I may meet after I leave this body. Right now, I just need to make an effort to go back to God, to merge back in God so that I can go and join God somewhere once I leave this physical body. The non-dualist only tries to reveal the teaching, but unless the dualists cooperate in receiving the teaching, nothing can be done. He's trying to say that the non-dualists are never trying to dispute with the dualists. They only try to share these teachings. But unless the dualist has some opening, yeah, mental, intellectual opening, nothing can be done. All the dualists are rigidly holding on to their standpoint, and even they discourage their followers from going to Advaita teachers. The non-dualist is not afraid of Advaita because a non-dualist can understand both levels of truth, Satya and Mithya. Advaita does not contradict any other teaching. Very nice, huh?
Arlindo?
Yes?
So, in terms of conflicts within Mithya, there's the Dharma-Adharma conflict, like Arjuna faced. In America, we're going through that big time. I often think about you in Brazil and how you've lived through a country with that Dharma-Adharma conflict. And it's difficult to stand outside it and accept the Adharma. So how do you do that?
Okay. This is another subject, I would say, no? But
Yeah,
it's connected in
tangential.
the sense I mentioned Dharma and Adharma, no? So in Mithya we live, yeah, as growing entities or spiritual religious entities. The first thing is we need to understand what's Dharma and what is Adharma, and then we need to observe Dharma. So what I'm trying to say is that we live in such a crazy world, and it's all over the planet. We don't know what to believe anymore. There is so much fake news. We don't know anymore who is saying the truth. I'm coming to the conclusion that near everything that we hear is not the real truth. So it's better we stay within our inner work and not much caught up on the outer world, because as we know, the outer world does not provide us with true security. We cannot change the setup. For sure, we live in a kind of Kali Yuga in which there is so much violation of Dharma, so much lies and deceits, yeah? And it's not the first time you mentioned that, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
better not get caught up with all of that, Lynn. You understand?
Yeah,
Because there is very little we can do at this point. What can you do? You understand?
yeah, but our Krishna told Arjuna he had to fight. So the difficulty is doing the fight for Dharma and being unattached. It's just, it's an area I need to grow in.
One thing is to fight without expectation in regards to the results. Another thing is to know how to fight, where to fight, to fight against whom. And is my perspective, is my point of view, my perspective of understanding of Dharma in this field in which communication narratives, you see, there is an expression in that says, in times of war, the first thing to be sacrificed is the truth. The first
Yeah,
victim is the truth. Okay,
yeah,
we have to be very careful with what we hear because nobody's telling truth. So
yeah,
we don't have much means to see. Okay, I mean, this is Duryodhana's people and this is Arjuna's people. These are done because there is miscommunication, misinformation all over the place. Nobody is really, there is no bad and good cop that we can easily identify. That's why I say, so how are we going to fight this war? You know, how are we going to fight this war? I mean, we can only fight by living by example, a dharmic life. We may be shooting on someone that we believe to be a dharmic. For example, a simple example that happened in Brazil. Everybody thought that this new president would be a dharmic person because he comes from the Labour Party, and he proved to be absolutely a dharmic. He's totally like that with all uh, tyrants of China, Russia, and Latin America.
yeah,
He's a terrible person. He's destroying the north, and we all thought that he was going to work to save Brazil. You understand? So it's very difficult nowadays. It's so easy to be deceived,
yeah.
and ultimately you have to just and to try to share your opinion with someone. The opinion of someone is as good as the opinion of anyone. you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So well, it's better we never believe totally on what we hear here and there. There is a lot of room for mistake when we try to understand what's going on. It's much
So I
better.
think, yeah, I'll just continue my life as a nun.
You continue your life knowing that there is very little you can do. You see,
Yeah,
when we say that in times of war, the first victim is the truth, and in order to follow Dharma, I need to identify what's the truth and what is the lies. Yeah? But I mean, you can't do that nowadays.
yeah,
The whole system, the entire system is somehow co-opted, corrupted, influenced by different sides. It's a mess. You understand?
mm, mm,
So
I
if
do.
I cannot know who's telling the truth, so I don't know which position I'm going to take at this point. You understand? I don't believe in anything anymore. A conclusion I came to, Lynn. I will never believe a politician, and I will never believe a billionaire again in my life. A
Mm.
politician is not trustworthy, and the billionaire is even less because nobody becomes a billionaire
With that
following
strong raga dveshas. Yeah, yeah,
following the. So I just watch things, and And then in my mind, I'm all the time saying, okay, what a waste of time we listen to these guys, because as we know, most probably they are just playing a script. They are just, it's a theater, most of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The
It's
moment
just hard.
we take one part against the other part, we are caught up. And the purpose of all of that is somehow, I mean, there is a lot of truth in that, to create divisions, because the people, once divide, they are weaker. Divide and conquer. Is an expression that comes from the
Mhm.
Roman
Yeah.
times. So there are all kinds of divisions in all societies, in all nations. Division, black and white, and this and that. It's weird, everything, and everybody is going crazy.
Yeah.
We try to live a dharmic life in a time which is under the influence of a dharmic force, and without being much caught up in respect to the players, because the players are not trustworthy.
Mhm. So, the only other thing is what to do with the grief for the planet or the creatures, but
But I mean, we are here for the complete teachings of Vedanta. The complete teachings of Vedanta involves also the understanding that Ishvara knows what
yes,
he's doing.
yes,
Ishvara is doing. We leave it all to Ishvara, understand?
yeah,
What's going to happen? I mean, when we see the direction of our societies with transhumanism and AI and all that, I mean, everything is being destroyed, deconstructed so fast.
yeah.
And the only thing we can do is leave it all to Ishvara, and we do our inner work. You understand?
All right.
And watch out for the
Watch.
TV and the media and this and that, because
Yeah.
it's very
You mean,
difficult, very easy to identify with one side here, another side there, and sometimes we change position, and in the end they say, oh my God.
right.
Hmm. Let's not trust in the politician. Let's trust in Ishvara would be a good statement. Mm.
We'll do that.
Okay. Verse 19. This unborn Atma becomes differentiated through Maya, the power of Maya, uh, not in any other manner. So we talk about the self, which is beyond time and space. Therefore, it was never, there was no time that this Atma, this self, this consciousness, this Brahman, this Turiya was unborn. So it is unborn, was born, sorry. It is unborn, it's beyond eternity, and appears to be many, and most importantly, it appears to be the Jiva Atma. Appears to be many, differentiated by different configurations due to a certain power of Maya, which creates the impossible. Now, it projects something that feels to be real, but it's not really real. So it's not really creation. That's why we like better the expression manifestation. Creation is even more biased by with a sense of reality. It was created, the universe was created, and then and then it must be real. But it's a projection, superimposition, a manifestation, such as the manifestation of the dream world. This is all due to different powers of Maya, the plurality, all the different phenomena. They are just appearance occurring in consciousness. if this universe was real, really, really real, plurality, diversity, duality, differentiations of so many namarupas, the self would be, the immortal self would have to come down to the status of mortal self. So he's trying to say that if the self is the Atma, becomes really the world and Jiva, if the self becomes Ishvara, Jiva, Jagat, and then we see Jagat and Jiva, plurality, yeah? Numerous pluralities of objects, sentient objects and inert objects. So if this would happen to the self, yeah, and then the self would be said to be no longer an immortal principle, but it would be undergoing the same laws and principles of time and space. Why? Because now the Atma, the self, became really something. When you become something, it means at a certain point, the Atma became something. When it becomes something, we have what? The initiation of something. So something was born, okay? Every time there is something beginning or being born or initiated, it will go, time will have an effect and then it will die. Anything that has a beginning, there will be an end. So if Brahman indeed becomes Ishwara Jiva Jagata, and then Ishwara Jiva Jagata would be Satya because it is Brahman appearing through its own power of creation as Ishwara Jiva Jagat. So with the fact that Ishwara Jiva Jagat undergo change and mortality, uh, is a clear indication that it cannot be Brahman, it cannot be a real extension of Brahman. Extension is a word that some circles say. Brahman or God extends itself, into the world, and then it's the body, differentiated body of Brahman, So if that would be the case, then Brahman would be reduced to a mortal entity, because anything that is born and characterized by different attributes such as all namarupas of the universe is going to be destroyed or deconstructed at a certain time. Many systems of duality believe that there was originally only one Paramatma, and for some reason, the Paramatma has now become Jivatma and become Jagat as well, and become Ishwara. And most importantly, the Jivatma is suffering of a certain condition called samsara. So now we have Paramatma that had no problems of misidentification, appearing as a Jiva entity misidentified as the body and therefore suffering of samsara. No? Thus, the Jivatma came from Paramatma. The Jivatma was one with Paramatma, but now is apart from Paramatma, separated from Paramatma. Therefore, the Jivatma now is suffering from this misidentification. I am this small wave, no longer I'm the ocean, no longer I'm just water. So now Jivatma is suffering from samsara. It's a illness, it's a psychological, mental condition derived of the sense of being separate and independent entity in this vast, mysterious universe that produces tremendous sense of insecurity and fear. So Jivatma now is there, separate from Brahman and suffering from samsara. What should the Jivatma do now? Well, so that's a good question. What should I do now? The Jivatma has to gradually go towards the Paramatma and join the Paramatma. It makes sense, right? Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so now I heard that I had those thoughts in my mind. We pick up things in the very early age of my life. I had this fantasy that I want to go back to God. You know, and when I start meditating, I would have some fantasies in my mind. I would look for the ocean, look at, oh God, you are everything. I want to merge back into you. These things they are there in the air. You know, so we need to go gradually towards Paramatma and until we merge definitely with Paramatma. Gaudapada says that if Paramatma can undergo change to create Jivatma, and Jivatma is totally suffering from samsara, then this Jivatma can come away from the Paramatma, then the Paramatma is subject to change in division. Yeah, so he's not going where I was going to go, but he's saying again that this Jivatma, if he came out of Brahman, Paramatma, and can come away from Paramatma, then Paramatma is going through some change and division. Uh, if the Paramatma has now become many due to division and change, Jivatma has come, and when the Jivatma goes and joins back the Paramatma, this Jivatma attains moksha. So this is a question, a common question. If the Jivatma can come away from the Paramatma, then after joining Paramatma, Jivatma can again be separate from Paramatma. No? Can you separate yourself from your intrinsic true essential nature? No, because the nature is that without which I don't have conscious existence. But if Paramatma is not my true nature, but it's something that became many, then I want to go back to the source. The source, I want to merge into the source. I want to go back to the source. But even if after great effort I join back my source, anything that can be gained by effort must be lost. There is nothing you can accomplish or gain that will not be lost. There is only one thing that you can accomplish and gain that will never be lost, which is accomplish or gain the firm understanding of your true essential nature as ever free, ever moksha. Because that is not gaining something through ordinary effort, but gaining the firm understanding of something that was never lost to begin with, because it is your intrinsic true nature. Therefore, Vedanta says that Jivatma has never come away from the Paramatma, has never become separated from the Paramatma, because the Paramatma cannot undergo any change to create division. Therefore, the separation is only a sense of seeming separation, but actually the separation has not happened. If the separation is not factual, Jivatma need not to travel back to join Paramatma. Therefore, moksha is dropping the notion that I am away from Paramatma. Uh, So it's not only, I mean, it's the implied meaning. I was never apart from God. I will never apart from Brahman. I will never apart because I am Brahman. It's just that is missing. Because the notion, that dropping the notion that I am separate from Brahman, it may give us a sense that Brahman is a whole made of many parts. The many parts are what? All Jivatma. But no, I drop the notion that I am separate from Paramatma because I am Paramatma. There's no question of being back together or separate because I am Paramatma. The Paramatma Jivatma separation, division takes place only seemingly due to ignorance, not actually, because of Maya Shakti, the power to deceive, as in the case of the dream, the separation from home and being deserted in some place, some dream place, for example. Other than that, the actual separation and division can never take place because Brahman is defined in the scriptures as indivisible, just as the space in the example of the clay pots, which apparently create inner space. Suppose the Jivatma and the Paramatma get separated at the creation, a moment of creation of the world. Boom! Uh, Appears the world and appears Jivatma, appears the creator, and then at Shristi, uh, sorry, suppose the Jivatma and Paramatma get separated at the birth, and then at the beginning of the creation, then doing sadhana, the Jivatma joined Paramatma. This can happen again and again in time. Everything can happen cyclically. Thus, the separation union of Jivatma and Paramatma will go on happening, and there will be no permanent motion. Part of this would imply that Paramatma itself would be subject to time and mortality, as the verse implies. No? And here the Swami presents the concept of a cyclical creation. If Jivatma can go back to become Paramatma, yeah, due to some incredible experience, mystical experience, like someone I was associated with used to describe. I have to go deep and deep, and then I merge back into into God, Brahman, and then when I come back, I came out again. I'm separate when I come out of that state. Then I make an effort to go back in samadhi, deep samadhi, and then I'm there merging in Paramatma. Then I come out again. You know, so it's just a state, mental state, that you are tripping, believing that is merged with Brahman. But if that would be the case, now it would happen cyclically again and again. You make an effort and then you join Paramatma, and then you come out of that mental state, and then you feel that again I am separated as a Jivatma. So it means to say that there is no moksha really. What is moksha? Moksha is a temporary feeling, sensation that I'm one with God. I'm one with Paramatma. Is that it? So and who would be? I mean, no wise person would be satisfied with impermanent moksha. You know, moksha denotes freedom. No? Oh no, there is only relative temporary freedom. Uh, I walked away from that sense of freedom when I walked away from my mental states that would give me some nice states of satisfaction, which would disappear as soon as I would come out of my meditation space. No? Anybody a little smart would come to that conclusion. So moksha must be a permanent solution, not a temporary solution. Furthermore, this would imply that Paramatma is also subject to change, time, and mortality. Verse 20. You guys feel free to comment or to share or to ask questions, please. The disputants wish to ascertain the birth of the unborn reality itself. So these dualists, they fight among one another to ascertain. the beginning, the birth of this universe, yeah, which they take to be reality as well. So reality is God and the world, Brahman and the Jagata. The birth of this unborn reality needs to be established and understood. How can the unborn immortal Brahman or reality indeed undergo mortality? Again, this points to the fact if this Brahman is born as the world, and then this Brahman will die because anything that is born must die. Anything that's born is born in time. If the world is real, the world was created, it was born. There is a beginning. Everything there is a beginning has an end. Therefore, if the world is as real as Brahman, and then this world having a beginning will have an end, and that implies that Brahman has an end as well. Okay, so it's absurd. All of that is absurd. The problem with all the dualistic systems is that they treat Brahman as one more object in the world, in the universe, in the cosmos. Brahman, what is Brahman? Brahman is energy, is a common misunderstanding. Brahman is energy. It's very subtle energy. Because we experience various things in the creation, and when the Upanishads introduce Brahman, we try to imagine Brahman as another thing, a vast, huge principle, that exists within the cosmos. In the Shastra itself, initially, the infinite formless Brahman is giving a form for the sake of meditation. And this leads to the misconception that Brahman is an entity living in a remote place in the cosmos. So Brahman is now placed in meteor. Uh, there are some descriptions given by these scriptures in regards to this Brahman. There are descriptions that the Jivatima has come away from this Brahman like sparks coming from the fire. There is one fire, but there are many sparks. But this is not a fact. Once it is taken as a fact that Paramatma is subject to birth and division and separation, the Paramatma is then reduced to a finite entity. Various technological and philosophical systems which look upon Paramatma as a person in some other loka talk about the division of Paramatma into Paramatma and Jivatma, and talk about the Jivatma coming away from Paramatma at the time of the creation. And the creation, Jivatma breaks apart from Paramatma. And Paramatma is an entity living in some other loka, some other dimension, some other parallel universe, like they say, wherever it is, it's all media. It's all media. So you are reducing Paramatma to another object, media object. You understand? Oh, but it's a very vast one. It's omnipresent, omniscient, omnis, on that. So once you do that, you are attributing limitations to Paramatma, such as mortality. How can the one without the second Paramatma be divided into the form of so many Jivatmas? And if it was not enough, the entire cosmos, Jagata, composed by infinite numbers of inert objects, how can one without the second Paramatma get divided? Quantity space is not actual division. but only a semi-division because the space is indivisible. So the pot space it represents Jivatma. The pot would represent Jagata. So how can this Paramatma get divided into so many Jivatmas and so many uh, universe? Paramatma can never become Jivatma, much less Jagata. The Paramatma can appear as Jivatma more so than as the inert world because Jivatma enjoys reflected consciousness, the Atma of the Jiva, and therefore it's more easily mistakenly taken to be uh, an extension of Paramatma. No, Jivatma is an extension. Why? Because it's consciousness. Jivatma. Paramatma is consciousness, Jivatma is consciousness. So it's just so many consciousness now. I mean, a conscious is a conscious. People talk about consciousness as a changing phenomenon here and there, not understand that there is only one consciousness, many minds, no? Living in all kinds of different dimensions. We are none other than Paramatma itself appearing as Jivatma, but we refuse to accept that as a fact. So the truth is that Paramatma, just due to some incredible power, deceiving power, appears as living, intelligent living creatures, the human jivas. But fundamentally, essentially, we are just of the same nature, Atma, appearing as human Atma, as Jiva Atma. But we have a hard time accepting this as a fact. Even Vedanta students have a hard time to really claim it, accept and claim it. How can an unborn, deathless, and divisionless Paramatma get divided in several Jivatmas? It can never get divided. So therefore, we need to come to this understanding if our purpose is really moksha or freedom, which is, by the way, everyone's intrinsic nature. I was never apart from Paramatma because I am Paramatma. It's hard to accept that in the beginning. That's why we go through this Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasana again and again until we can accept it and claim our glorious nature as Paramatma. Verse 21, the immortal does not become mortal in the same way the mortal does not become immortal. Transformation of the intrinsic nature does not take place anywhere, anyhow. So that which is immortal does not become mortal. In the same way, the mortal does not become immortal. Can consciousness, can the true nature of the Jivatma uh, do something to become immortal? No, because consciousness is beyond mortality and immortality. The immortal can never become immortal as well. That's the point I'm bringing. The immortal does not become mortal. The mortal does not become immortal. And Brahman can never become immortal itself because Brahman is beyond mortality and immortality. All pair of opposites exist within time and space. Therefore, the immortal Brahman, which is our true nature, does not become mortal. The mortal body mind sense complex does not become immortal. Brahman is beyond mortality and immortality. Can Brahman become immortal? No, because Brahman is beyond mortality. Can the jiva become immortal as the body mind sense complex? No, because that which is born must die. So the mortal can never become immortal. Transformation of the intrinsic nature never takes place. The intrinsic nature does not change, does not transform. Therefore, there is no way we can get immortality for the physical body. The physical body is a mortal entity, and we want to claim our immortal nature in Brahman, in consciousness, as consciousness, accepting the fact that anything that's born must die, so the physical body is mortal. No problem. I have no problem. I'm a mature entity, a mature human being, and I accept the mortality of anything that was born. But your born was born. I heard you say that you were never born. No, no. The body was born, and I accept the fact that anything that's born must die. But I have established my identity in Satya, in Brahman, the immortal self. And from that standpoint, from that sense of identity, I see the mortality of the physical body taking place with gratitude, elegance, and a beautiful, grateful acceptance. Let's say, because this body is serving an incredible purpose, which is bringing more and more wisdom to this soul. This is a very profound verse. It has many corollaries. The essential nature of something will never be lost, and you can never gain it either. Oh, I heard that you limitless consciousness, and then I want it. How can I get it? How can I accomplish? How can I gain it? No, you cannot. You cannot. But no, you told me that there is such a thing. I want to know my limitless nature. Tell me. I will do anything to get it, to accomplish it. So you can never do. You cannot just understanding that you are it. It will never go away from you. Why? The nature of something does not go away. The essential nature of the fire is heat. You will never going to find the fire that became cold. Through fire, they may create it. Synthetic fire one day, who knows? That is cold. Wherever there is fire, there will be heat. There can be hot fire or no fire at all, but you will never find cold fire in nature. In the case of hot water, the heat is an incidental nature and is born from the fire. So this is a beautiful analogy, as we know. So is the heat the essential nature of the boiling water? No. It may appear to, but it was a transfer of something else nature. The nature of the fire was transferred to the pot, and the pot became hot, and the hot pot transferred the nature of the fire, which was born from the fire into the water. Now the water is having this heat within itself. It's so intimate that it appears to be the intrinsic nature of the water. And then the water is going to transfer this heat to the vegetables and so on. But this is all transfers of the attributes. But there is one principle, which is the fire. The fire will never lose its heat. The vegetable is going to lose its heat, The water is going to lose its heat, the pot is going to lose its heat, but the fire will never lose that which is its intrinsic, essential nature, that which can never be gained and will never be lost. Everything has both incidental nature and intrinsic nature. The Jivatma has both incidental nature and intrinsic nature. What is our incidental nature? Anything that we define ourselves as a body, mind, sense, complex entity. No, no, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, I'm right, I'm left, I'm this, I'm that. Any definition that we take to ourselves, it becomes our apparent nature. Oh, I'm big, I'm small, I'm fat, I'm skinny, I'm clever, I'm clever. Anything. Those are apparent incidental natures. And these incidental natures, they are there in the Jivatma and they need to be cultivated in the right direction. We should never say, this is incidental nature, I don't care. No, we need to cultivate a certain incidental nature, apparent nature, sattvic, dharmic nature, clear, contemplative nature. Why? Because I want to understand my intrinsic nature in a way that it's never going to be forgotten. No? So then I have to treat well my incidental nature. What is the nature of the self, the Atma? Whether it is called Paramatma or Jivatma, the Upanishads teach that the intrinsic nature of Atma is immortality, beginningless, and Nadi. The intrinsic nature of Anatma is what? Nadi, that which is born and immortal, and immortal, that which died. Everything in creation, in the manifestation, yeah, has a beginning and an end. It is Anatma. The nature of the Anatma is that which has a beginning and an end. Therefore, the body is mortal. And how about the mind? Is the mind mortal or immortal? This is a good inquiry. Is the mind really immortal? What do you think?
All you have to do is get a little older to understand how mortal the mind is. Its diminution is just crazy.
The mind goes through change, definitely. It becomes weaker. And then if we get sick, we get more tamasic by our incidental nature, mental nature. And here and there in the scriptures, it is said that the mind does not really die because the mind reincarnates. It appears to die just to take on another birth. I always love the subject about incarnation and reincarnation. And I was studying on different gurus. And then every time I would hear Nisargadatta saying something about that or Ramana, I would like, open up and say, I still don't see. And then I would read again or listen again to see what they say. One time, uh, Ramana, the guy who used to present very few words, and somebody was asking him about this incarnation and reincarnation. And he says, there is no reincarnation. It's only the mind that reincarnate. It's only the mind. And then at the time I do not understand, he was saying that you do not reincarnate, but the mind reincarnate. He was giving those telegraphic message that it was being missed all over the place. Oh, there is no real. reincarnation, only the mind reincarnates. And then you think for yourself, so only the mind reincarnates. I was really like, now what I'm going to make of this pointer, you know? So it's only the mind. The mind is going to again and again ask, beg Ishvara, give me another instrument of experience and knowledge, please. I have so many vasanas. My vasanas I have a huge load. I need to go back there to complete certain things. No? And then the mind is going to get again physical instrument of experience to carry on.
When you say mind, do you intend is it the karma stream?
Yeah, mind.
Yeah.
You can say mind, mind not attached, not associated with the physical body. Is
Yeah.
dissociate mind, and this mind is there. You know, all the impressions are there, and this mind is pulsating with ragas and aversion, desires and aversions, and a lot of things it wants to desire for continuation. The fundamental vasana is continuation, more experience, dualistic experience. So the mind is going to beg Shvara for another physical body to carry on its usual business, you know. So is the mind mortal or immortal? Is almost immortal, but the mind dissolves itself once one's desires and fears, desires, aversion were burned in the fire of self-knowledge. Because those are the energies that somehow have the power to bring about another instrument, another birth, another instrument for continuation of experience. Desires for more. I want to have more of this and that, and I want to avoid this and that. I want to resolve this and that, you know. So the mind is the one that gets the benefit of self-knowledge. Therefore, there is this common uh, concept that self-knowledge is almost like the mind committing suicidal, because the mind is usually seen as one's likes and dislikes, desires and aversions. So with self-knowledge, those energies, desire is what moves us. Desire is what brings about birth after birth. When those desires start disappearing, you just see your karma unfolding, exhausting, and you never know. But chances are that the yani, so yani will not have enough rags and versions to produce another physical body. You know. Okay. Thus, everything has both incidental and intrinsic nature. The Upanishads teaching us intrinsic nature is absolutely immortal. Body is mortal. Mortal cannot become immortal. Immortal cannot become mortal. Motion is defined as my true nature, which was never born, therefore will never go through any mortality. So how am I supposed to go about to gain this mortality? How can I become immortal? Gaudapada asks whether I want the body to become immortal or I want to claim my true nature, which is immortal. Either way, I will be in trouble. Now, he was presenting, Gaudapada asks whether I want the body to become immortal, which is impossible mission, or if I want the self to become immortal. Now, in both cases, I am in trouble because I will never make the Atma to become immortal, because immortality is one's true essential nature. And much less the body. No, likewise, the body will never become immortal. Either way, I will be in trouble. The body can never become immortal because mortality is the body's essential nature. Atma need not become immortal because immortality is its intrinsic nature. Let me just finish this few paragraph. Then what are we working for and why are we studying the scriptures? We are not working to become immortal because neither Anatma nor Atma can become immortal. Nobody, I mean, none of those satya and mitya factors or principles can become something. You know, the body cannot become mortal because the body is mortal, which is its intrinsic nature. The body cannot become immortal because immortality is not the intrinsic nature of the body. And then Atma cannot become immortal because immortal is already its intrinsic nature. And Atma can never become mortal because that is an impossible thing. What is our aim then in studying Vedanta? It's not becoming immortal, but to understand that mortality belongs to the body, and I must understand and accept this basic principle of mithya and accept it without complaining. No? Complaining. Is there something more beautiful than see someone dying without, oh no, no, you know, save me, Jesus, save me, God. Uh, and there's something more infantile than that. Oh no, it's not fair. I'm only 100 years old. Let me understand that I'm not the body, that I am the immortal self, and then I claim that I am the self, my true immortal nature. Therefore, becoming immortal is not our goal, but claiming our immortality is our goal. While claiming our immortality, we should accept the immortality of the body. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says very clearly, O Arjuna, since organs and objects which cause cold, heat, pleasure, and pain are subject to arrival and departure, anything that has a beginning and end is impermanent. O Arjuna, accept them. You know, just accept, endure them, accept them. Don't cry. Huh? Anathema will be appearing and disappearing. Some anathemas will be comfortable, some will not be comfortable. So one should learn to accept growing old, and also respect elders. Old age is respect in our culture. Yeah, he's saying that some jivatmas or anatmas, no, will be uh, will be enjoying some punya and enjoy some favorable circumstance and feel comfortable. Some are going to be going through hard times, very uncomfortable. Overall, most people with very advanced old age goes through illness and some degree of pain. Although nowadays there is something called uh, in Portuguese it is medicina da dor. It is pain. It's a new area in medicine that allows people to go through the last stage of life having some terminal disease that in the past would subject the person to tremendous pain, which would exhaust a lot of papa karma. And now they are removing that. They became smart and they disconnect the connection between the nerves from that area of the body that is sending the signal of pain to the brain, and then the person died without any pain. So I don't know. I mean, I think that Ishvara was using the pain for exhausting some papa karma. But everything is working for Ishvara, even more than science. What is moksha? Claiming the immortality of myself, the Atma, and gracefully accepting the mortality of the Anatma. This is freedom. Anatma's mortality is essential, and even Bhagwan cannot make Anatma immortal. Krishna's body is also an incarnate body subject to mortality. Now, even the avatars, they are born, and even the avatars are going to die. That's the message here. Therefore, if Shwana decides to send one of us down here as an avatar, so we better have a conversation. We pull Shwana to the side and say, oh, I'm enjoying here my immortal nature as the Atma, the self. You're going to send me again back there, give me a birth. And then anything that's born is going to die. There will be pleasures and pain. So find somebody else. Okie dokie. Enough of jokes. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate Om Shanti 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 Om. Namaste. As a quick note, tomorrow I wish to do a class on Gita, but there is a small possibility that I have to go with my brother to Rio de Janeiro to help him to bring his wife there. I hope it's not going to be necessary, it's not going to happen, but I will let you know today. I will confirm our class tomorrow, hopefully. Okie dokie. Namaste.
Okay. Thank you, Arlinda.
Namaste.
Okay. Bye now.